Does anybody remember Resistance and Liberation? Well, you should. Even if you're too young to remember this game, this was a pillar of the tactical gaming community. Long before you probably even heard of Project Reality, long before Squad even existed, Resistance and Liberation was one of the core tactical games pushing the genre in the very niche community that the tactical gaming genre is. Resistance and Liberation was probably one of the first games, one of the first tactical shooters to have proximity, local voice chat, even before Project Reality. Project Reality didn't have this until much, much later in its development. This game was very similar to Brothers in Arms. The only difference was that it was multiplayer, it was squad-oriented, it was entirely player versus player. It was, in my mind, probably one of the first, if not the first, tactical World War II shooter with proximity VoIP, solid squad mechanics, really structured and polished PvP gameplay. You could perhaps maybe talk about Arma and Arma mods back in the day, but we all know the reasons that we love playing Project Reality and Squad over Arma, and Resistance and Liberation was one of those reasons. It was a excellent testament to what tactical PvP gaming could be. So why am I bringing this back up? Resistance and Liberation was a great mod back in the day. The mod for Half-Life 2 isn't being developed anymore, unfortunately, even though it was fantastic. Here is some footage of it being played back in the day. This is the cinematic trailer. Cover-based, immersive. One of the biggest things about Resistance and Liberation was their focus on no heads-up display and really refined features. If you could see the animations in this game and how well it plays. Unfortunately, since it's such an old game, the only videos available are low resolution, but the mechanics for moving and firing and covering your squad mates and clearing buildings were incredibly satisfying, polished, and this was kind of like Squad before Squad was Squad. This was my baby. I was all about this, and you can see there's no HUD, there's no nothing. It's all about immersion. So why am I talking to you about this? Well, what if I told you that Resistance and Liberation is making a comeback? The developers of Resistance and Liberation, and some, of course, the core community members from way back in the day, are recreating Resistance and Liberation in Unreal Engine 4. Which is fantastic. Like I personally love Unreal Engine 4 because it is a incredibly powerful platform. It's honestly, Unreal Engine 4 is almost like the source engine of today, where it is enabling so many artists to do so much. Here are screenshots of the new game. And I'm not saying that Resistance and Liberation is going to be the only tactical game on Unreal Engine 4, or you should ignore everything else, but the more of these that we have, the better. And this is a team that has created a exceptionally well-made World War II tactical game in the past. And in addition to the World War II modifications of Squad and otherwise, I am just as, if not more, excited for Resistance and Liberation, since, as before, it brought something really different to the table. The lack of HUD, the focus on immersion, the tight-knit squad coordination, it has its own team, and they're making progress on this. This is not just a random video getting hype. Like, they are developing this game. And I'm really excited. Really excited. This is what Squad looked like back when I first started talking to Squad, and now we've all seen how far that's come. So this is something that I'm seeing just as much potential in. Now, I know the big questions that you're going to have. First, where can you learn about this game? Well, of course, there's the IndieDB page. You can go to IndieDB, which is another version of ModDB run by the same company. And you can just search for Resistance and Liberation on IndieDB. You can also go to their YouTube channel, which is RNL Media, spelled exactly like that, youtube.com/RNL Media or users/RNL Media, and you can subscribe to them here. And then, of course, the other big question that I'm sure everybody's going to ask is this game going to be free? Now, the answer to that question is undecided. As you've seen with Squad, having a budget to develop Squad with has accelerated Squad's development exponentially. Resistance and Liberation is at that same initial decision point, that crossroads between, do we want to create a community-developed game, but created with volunteers in their free time and create it much more slowly over a period of years and years? Or do we want to create a commercial version of this game with a considerably accelerated development cycle to make it faster and better? Now, personally for me, I would prefer for them to go the commercial route, and hopefully under the same reasons that I would prefer that, you all would also prefer that, because I have no problem shelling out a little bit of money to make these games better and more fun and more stable and come out faster. That's absolutely the case. However, I don't make that decision. That is entirely up to them. So, if you are interested in getting to know more about Resistance and Liberation, you can go to their website. You can contact them on their forums. You can support this brand new initiative in order to remake Resistance and Liberation. And they have a lot done already. Granted, not an entire game made right out of the box. You're not going to be able to go and download a playable demo right now, but they are making exceptional progress very quickly. And with your support, I can see this being developed much faster than I think a lot of people would expect. So, that is it. I will let you know more information about Resistance and Liberation as it is unveiled. If you are interested in figuring these things out, or if you want to go to this community and keep tabs on this for me, because I love it when people message me on Discord with updates on things that I forget to follow, you can do so. And I would very much appreciate anybody from the community keeping tabs on this. Besides that, feel free to talk to the developers. I'm sure they'd love to hear from anybody and everybody. Feel free to watch the prototypes. Feel free to download the original Resistance and Liberation. I'm sure it's still available for download somewhere. And knowing the community of Resistance and Liberation, guarantee there's probably still at least one server up that's semi-populated. But if you want to go check that out, feel free to. It is free. The mod is definitely free. And I hope you're as excited as I am. All right, that's it. Blue Drake out. This is that awkward part where I just gotta like end the video, and you guys always expect me to do something weird, but I'm not gonna do it this time. I'm not. I love you.